My name is Rowan Smith, and I'm the founder of TechGym. TechGym is innovating rehabilitation using intelligent robotics. This is my 94-year-old grandmother, Lorna. She lives in an aged care facility, but she still has her own home, her own kitchen, her own garden. The most important thing to my nan, though, is that she has her own independence. Unfortunately, at the end of 2017, her independence was taken away from her in a split second when she had a stroke. Watching my nan go through the rehabilitation process, I learned about the struggles of the patient, but the therapist too. For my nan, she was only receiving care 3 times a week and for 20 minutes each time. And that's not good enough for patients trying to reconnect their brain to the rest of their body. But I get it. I spoke with the therapist. They have to run around and serve so many patients simultaneously. And with our aging population, that's only going to get harder. They work so hard that 64% of therapists actually injure themselves in the workplace. TechGym is working on a solution for this. No, we're not. It's broken. Our prototype is clinically built. We're about to test this in a clinical study with Bankstown Hospital very shortly. We're really excited by this because the device can physically assist the patient. Do you mind just loading this up for me again? Thanks. Can physically assist the patient so that the therapist can go out and serve more patients simultaneously. Whilst they're on that device, they get the fun and interactiveness from a game. They're actually interacting with something that's more functionally driven to what they want to return home to. Not just being told, cool, can you do this 1,000 times in the next hour for me? Or play with your button on your shirt. Because they don't do it, they don't engage. But what we know is when a patient's engaging with their rehabilitation, they're going to get home faster and with a higher level of independence. When that happens, our government's going to save money on government expenditure every single year. So it's a huge, huge benefit there. Let's jump to the clinical value page really quickly. Thank you for that. Sorry, you don't get to see the product. What we also do is automate the reporting process for that therapist. So instead of slaving over paperwork, we save them time to, guess what, go and serve more patients, because then they'll return home faster. Now I want to start with stroke because it's dear and near to me, but it's also a very big market. It's a $150 billion a year market in just developed nations. But that's just the starting point for us. We want to go into other markets. Our next market is post-orthopedic surgeries, other disabilities including spinal cord injury, cerebral palsy. The list is massive and I'll tell you more about that later. To be successful, we'll sell our product to rehabilitation centres, hospitals and private clinics for $90,000. An additional $8,000 a year, provide our customers with the benefits of training, servicing and the latest rehabilitation games and updates so it doesn't get old and stale. Now let's look at why we're different from our competitors. Our competitors are really big in the European space, so Home Tire Motion Bionic, but they're not portable. They can't go from the bedside of the patient to the gymnasium. So this means we can treat patients from day 1 of their rehabilitation to the last day that they're going home. Our accessibility is improved. It only requires minimal supervision to use our device, which means that patients that really need the physical assistance can get it from the therapist, but patients that just want to work independently can. What's really cool about the device is that we're building empathy into it. The games and the immersion is all focused around the patient and setting them to return home to something that they'll be comfortable with. We've got some really cool ideas as to how to build a human-like connection between the robot and the person. Our competitors, they're building robots that assist with movement. So ultimately, TechGym delivers a higher dosage of therapy at a lower daily cost in the same amount of time. Over the last 2 years, we worked with some fantastic organizations, UTS Startup, CSIRO, the MedTech Actuator, where we went through the Accelerator program, and more recently, Singularity University. We've got a great list of hospitals in Sydney that are keen to check out our tech and run a demo with us. Bankstown has signed up for a pilot, and we're currently trying to get the ethics through so we can test it with them very shortly. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about our team. So you know I'm the founder, but what you don't know is I'm a robotic engineer. And I became an engineer because I wanted to use technology to make real-world impacts to people's lives. I went out and found a team that wants to help me do that. Our advisory board are going to help us commercialize and scale this across the health industry and take it across to the US. We've got experts in health, medtech sales, and robotics. Now, my big idea for TechGym is not just to go into stroke. We have the opportunity to affect 2.6 billion lives. We want to go into the rehabilitation space in hospitals, as I mentioned, but we really bring true value by being able to bring down the cost of this and go to home care. Once we do that, that's where we access a really big market, and we can demonetize that and take it to the underdeveloped and developing nations next, where there's even more lives that we can impact. To do this, we're about to open a seed raise of $1 million. Now that's a pretty big ask for today, so let's just look at the $15,000 and what we can do with that instead. We're setting up this ethics application at the moment, but it's expensive and to use it with patients costs a bit. That $15,000 will let us test our device with 10 people here and now, so we can make a positive impact to people's lives. Please help me do that. Thank you very much.